Icon, icon, icon. It's always about icon. Until today, it is now officially about the Utopia of the Seas. Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend, and Royal Caribbean has announced their 6th Oasis Class ship, the Utopia of the Seas. Now I'm going to go through everything that I've learned from digging through their documents, telling you what's been added, what's been removed, and what's not changed. Some of the things that I like have stuck around, and some things that could have been reworked were not. And so we're going to go through the whole list so you don't have to do the legwork. If you're on a cruise right now, you're probably actually getting some free swag. So I'm hearing lots of reports of hats being given out, tchotchkes being given out, cruise directors doing special events for Utopia of the Seas, and more importantly, they're giving out another free cruise for Utopia of the Seas if you're on a cruise ship right now. So it's not all ships I'm hearing, but there are select ones that are giving this out. We saw this back when Icon of the Seas was being announced, so similar in the process. If you want to book this cruise, Crown and Anchor members will be able to do that starting June 22nd, and then everybody else it'll open up on June 23rd for you to be able to book. The bookings are going to start in July of 2024 is when the ship is going to do its inaugural sailing, and it's doing weekends. I am super excited. This might be my only chance I've ever had to do an inaugural cruise, and it is a weekend cruise, so I would love nothing more than to be on this ship. The summer months are tough for me with my daytime job that I have, so I'm going to have to see if I can, number one, swing the schedule. Number two, I got to make sure I can afford it. July is not known for being the cheapest sailing times in the world, let alone for an inaugural cruise, but I'm going to try my best to get on it. Now, we've also learned that she's going to be sailing at least to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which makes a lot of sense. If it is doing a weekend cruise, it's got to go out of the country somewhere. That is going to be to the Bahamas and to Perfect Day Coco Cay. I imagine it's also going to be stopping in Nassau. Interestingly, Royal Caribbean didn't brag about going to Nassau, but I'm thinking that they will start doing that as their beach club in the Bahamas takes shape and starts to actually form if everything there begins to move forward. The other option that I think might be a real possibility for Utopia of the Seas is the weekend sailings might just go to Perfect Day Coco Cay and have a sea day and come back. We know we're going to have a sea day for a 4-day. That's normal for the midweek sailings. But for a weekend sailing, if it's a brand new ship, they want to test it out, they want to bring in a ton of revenue early on, I think they might actually schedule a sea day for the first couple of cruises and see how that works out. I think most people would be open to that, and then when they get the beach club, they might start going more over to Nassau, the Bahamas, to enjoy the beach club they're going to be building out there. One of the biggest areas we're seeing changes with Utopia of the Seas is in its restaurants. And they've got a few restaurants that we've never seen before. The first one is the Immersive Train Car dining experience. That took me a while to say. It took me like 5 tries. I don't know exactly what this is going to be. They haven't told us what the Immersive Train Car experience is, but it's going to probably, if I had to guess, something with 3D imagery. Maybe there's visuals that are coming up on the plates. It'll be something that gives you an immersive experience using technology, I have a feeling. This is located where traditionally Azumi has been, and we'll come down to that when we get to the changes segment. But this is right outside the casino. You walk through the elevators to the right. That's where you're going to find this immersive train car dining experience. One of the second items that they've added is a poolside food truck experience. Now, I think this is great because there are a lot of people that love eating poolside. The El Loco Fresh is a fan favorite of everybody, and it has saved so many people's lives right along with Sorrento's. It'll be interesting to see what kind of food the poolside food truck offers. I know that the surface was going, hey, tacos, that'd be a great experience. But then I remember that El Loco Fresh was kind of the taco joint. So it'd be interesting to see what they actually put in the poolside truck. They've already got a hot dog place. I just don't know what's going to be poolside food. Let me know down in the comments if you have a preference or a thought on what you'd love to see in this poolside food truck. They've also got a third brand new bar called the Pesky Parrot. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this is. It's going to be located on the promenade level as soon as you walk in. If you're walking forward, it'll be the entrance of the promenade to the right, is where you're going to find this Pesky Parrot. It is my hope that it is not a repeat of the Bamboo Room. I have never been a fan of the Bamboo Room. Some of that could be its location, it's dark and dingy, but the concept just didn't take off with anyone. So I'm hoping it's not just a rebranded Bamboo Room, but time will tell. Again, we don't have a lot of details other than just the name that it is a brand new experience called the Pesky Parrot. Something I'm very thankful for. One of the things that is out the door that they have nixed, Wonderland is no more on the Utopia of the Seas. They did not make space for it, and I could not be happier. I went to Wonderland once, and I never wanted to go back ever again. Even when we'd have the dining package and it would have been included, chose not to go because it's a one and done kind of experience. I'm very glad to hear that they did not bring back Wonderland. What they did do in its place, though, and this I think is probably genius, is they've now put Giovanni's Kitchen in the spot where Wonderland was. So that's going to be in the aft section of the ship overlooking the boardwalk. And so that is that two-story space. We've got a balcony upstairs that looks down. And I think that's going to give a wonderful atmosphere to have Giovanni's Kitchen down below and maybe a nice wine bar up above. That was one of my friend's ideas, and I thought that that was pretty spot on. That would be a really awesome place. The views up there are amazing, and I am a huge fan of Giovanni's Kitchen. The one that I'm probably the most excited for is they are relocating Azumi. So they are moving Azumi from where it traditionally has been to the Central Park area. And interestingly, it's going to have the most real estate in Central Park of all of the restaurants that are there. They're even extending the teppanyaki tables to have 6 of those. That's where they do the hibachi in front of you and put on the little show. They're going up to 6 full tables inside of there. So it's going to feel like a proper restaurant. But what I'm really excited for here is that they're going to have takeaway sushi. So they're going to have a storefront where you can walk up and walk away with sushi, which I think is a fantastic concept. I'll be curious to see what we're charged for that because I'm confident it will still be an upcharge. But I'm excited for it because I think that that makes a really easy snack. They also have Hooked returning. I've been a fan favorite of Hooked since Navigator, so I'm excited to see that coming back. And interestingly, they are marketing Sprinkles as having 6 flavors now. And I was scratching my head going 6 flavors at Sprinkles, like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, which on a lot of cruise ships, you know, Royal Caribbean, you find chocolate and vanilla. Strawberry can be tough to come by. But they're counting in the swirls. If you start mixing them all up and you do a swirl of each, you're going to have 6 different flavors that you can get. They're not coming up with extra flavors. It's just going to be the swirl. We also have Johnny Rockets coming in. I don't know why Johnny Rocket sticks around. I assume that it's because they have an ironclad agreement with the company. I personally am not a fan of Johnny Rockets, and I always see it empty. It doesn't seem like on most other ships. Maybe I would say Oasis Class ships might be a little bit different because of its location in the boardwalk, but normally it's not doing a stellar business, and it's food that I personally don't always like to eat. I rarely like to eat it. Their milkshakes, on the other hand, I do appreciate. But their food, not for me. So I'm kind of bummed that they brought it back. I think that that's prime real estate. They could do something else, but we're going to have Johnny Rockets again. Another thing that they did not bring back is Portside Barbecue. So I was really hopeful. I went to this on Wonder of the Seas, and it is a fantastic spot. I loved Portside Barbecue, and that did not make it onto the Utopia of the Seas. A little disappointed in that, but we're going to be able to move past it. But what they did keep from Wonder is the mason jar. I know that is a fan favorite for many of you with the music, the drink options, the food. I'm excited to have the mason jar on Utopia of the Seas. I think that that was a fantastic addition to Wonder, and I think that it'll probably be an awesome add to the Utopia as well. There's also an interesting change to the stateroom. So that's kind of all the dining changes that I've figured out. But there's an interesting change to the suites in that the solarium is now going to have suites. I'll be very curious to see how this works. So they do have a suite neighborhood on Utopia of the Seas as well, but the solarium is not a part of that. So it'll be interesting to see how they bridge that gap and what is a solarium suite. I almost see a suite opening out into the solarium, but I don't know if they have real estate that they can do that. But it'll be really interesting to see how that concept comes to life. There are 3 things that did not change that I'm also going to call out from the Wonder of the Seas. The first one, the suite deck is in the same spot. There had been a lot of, I'll say, complaints about the soot and the smoke from the smokestacks, the exhaust, that come down onto the suite deck. It's also not close to the pools where a lot of people want it to be. So I was thinking they may switch that up some, but they have not. They've left it there. I'm hoping with the LNG-powered ship that they're not going to get as much soot. I'm hopeful that it'll be better for the environment, and so you won't have that residue problem on the railings in the back of the ship. The second thing that they did is they kept the Windjammer format that I really like, where you walk into the middle and then it branches out onto 2 different sides of the ship. I think that that makes the experience so much nicer. You don't feel as cramped in the Windjammer, and the flow of people is just better. So well done on keeping that experience. And the next thing that they did, and I know some people are not going to be a fan of this and some people will be a fan of this, they did keep the non-smoking casino where the Jazz Club used to be. So Jazz Club did not make it back on board. If anything, we are seeing more cruise ships now get these non-smoking sections, and that's continuing on to Utopia of the Seas. All right, everybody, those are a lot of the changes, things that are staying the same, some things that aren't, for Utopia of the Seas. Hope you've enjoyed this informative video, and as we get more information, I'll make sure to pass it along. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser. Hoping to see you on a Utopia of the Seas weekend cruise very soon.